What's up, guys? Thanks for checking out another video. So for this video, on the theme of optimism surrounding the Detroit Tigers this coming season, I want to spend a few minutes talking about the bullpen. Over the 2022 season, you can very comfortably say that the Tigers bullpen was the biggest bright spot over the campaign. I believe they were top 5 in all of baseball, and aside from Miguel Cabrera's legacy selection at the All-Star game, the Tigers' only All-Star selection was actually our closer, Gregory Soto. Two of the main pieces of that bullpen were traded by the Tigers in the offseason, and those guys were Jose Jimenez and previously mentioned Gregory Soto. However, despite losing both of those guys, who were admittedly instrumental to that bullpen, this bullpen should still be and will hopefully be one of our biggest strengths in the 2023 season. While there are still a handful of guys fighting for the last couple spots out of spring, there are 4 pieces of the bullpen that, in my opinion, have their role pretty much in place, pretty much regardless of how well they perform over the last few weeks of spring training. And those guys are Jason Foley, Jose Cisnero, Tyler Alexander, and Alex Lange. I'm going to start with Tyler Alexander. With a handful of starts over the last couple of years, Tyler Alexander will likely be more of a long, multiple inning reliever in addition to being a lefty specialist for the Tigers. His numbers weren't incredible last year, finishing with a 4-11 record and a 4.81 ERA. And he only had 61 strikeouts over 101 innings. However, in 2020 and 2021, he finished with a sub-4 ERA, and at this point, you pretty much know what you're getting from Tyler Alexander. He'll be super reliable, he'll likely start a game here and there, and he should just be a solid option for the Tigers this coming year. Moving on to Jose Cisnero. Jose Cisnero is one of those guys that, in my opinion, is incredibly overlooked and underrated, especially when you look back at his numbers over the last few years with the Tigers. In 2020, he pitched 29 2/3 innings and finished with an ERA of 3.03 and a 10.3 K per 9. He followed that up in 2021 with a career-high 61 2/3 innings and finished with a 3.65 ERA and a 9 K per 9. He was incredibly reliable in the setup role for the Tigers, and while he missed a huge chunk at the beginning of the season last year, over 25 innings, despite having a slightly elevated walk rate, he finished with a 1.08 ERA with 23 strikeouts, and it actually looked like, despite the injury, he had actually taken strides forward in 2022. He's 33 years old, which is a little older on the spectrum, so I think that's one of the main reasons that he's getting overlooked. But I think this guy is actually incredible in the back end of the bullpen, and he should be pretty good going into 2023. There's no reason to think otherwise. No, he won't finish with a 1.08 ERA again, but I think it's reasonable to expect an ERA right around 3, maybe slightly below, and it wouldn't shock me in the slightest to see him in the closer role throughout various points during the season. Pretty excited for Cisnero. The next guy I want to talk about in the Tigers bullpen is Jason Foley. Jason Foley only pitched in 10 innings in 2021, so 2022 was his first full season in the big leagues, and he was just super solid all around. He pitched just over 60 innings, and he finished with a 3.88 ERA, with 43 strikeouts and only 11 walks. Foley is more of a weak contact bullpen arm, and he also pitches really well in high leverage positions. Going into his second full season now, I think it's more than reasonable to expect another solid season out of him. Jason Foley should be very solid going into 2023. The last guy I want to focus on, and I saved the best for last, is a guy named Alex Lange. This is not a hard take when I say that this guy has some of the nastiest stuff in all of baseball. I believe in 2022, he had the largest whiff percentage in the entire MLB out of the bullpen. For those unfamiliar, whiff percentage is just like it sounds. It just measures swing and misses. So for him to be one of the best in the league in whiff percentage, that means that this guy has some of the nastiest stuff in the entire business. Last year, he struck out 82 batters in only 63 innings of work and finished the season with an ERA of 3.69. Lange is projected to be the Tigers' closer on day 1, and I think if that's the case, he will absolutely thrive in that role. And watching him throw that disgusting curveball is one of the things I'm most excited to watch going into 2023 for the Tigers. In addition to the 4 I touched on, real quickly, there are a handful of guys that I think could make a significant impact this year for Detroit. Guys like Will Vest, Brendan White, Chasen Shrieve, Mason Englert, Trevor Rosenthal, who the Tigers just signed last week, etc. Overall, I think the bullpen is going to continue to be one of the biggest strengths of the Tigers going into this season, and I'm excited to see if they can be just as good, if not better, than they were last year. If you guys got anything out of this video, please consider hitting the like button and subscribing. I'm still trying to get this channel off the ground, so any support would be super appreciated and would mean a lot to me. I'm still planning on making a couple more videos dedicated toward my optimism for the Tigers going into the 2023 season. So if you have any interests, consider hitting that notification bell as well, so you don't miss any future content. Also, comment below, what do you guys think of this new partially revamped bullpen we have going on right now? Could you guys see Alex Lange actually making the All-Star team? Personally, I definitely could. Anyway, leave a comment below, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Anyway, thank you so much for checking out another video. Have a great day.